So, what happens when you smash together the greatest mind of the 20th century and, the most powerful technology of the 21st? Well, you get a really fascinating question about what it even means to think. Today, we're going to dive into genius, artificial intelligence, and the very nature of thought itself. And our story kicks off with a pretty surprising confession from the man who basically redefined what genius is. Just let that sink in for a second. That's from Albert Einstein, right? The guy who's the poster child for pure logical genius. And he's saying his biggest world-changing ideas didn't really come from his intellect. They came from something else, something mysterious. And that wild idea is exactly where we're going to start. Okay, so if it wasn't just his massive intellect, what was Einstein's secret? We're about to dig into how he actually described his own creative process. And let me tell you, it's a whole lot weirder and more interesting than the picture we have of him as some kind of human calculator. Yeah, he was super clear about this. He actually gave credit to this kind of mysterious, almost non-logical process for his most profound discoveries in physics. He believed that after all the grinding, all the hard work and calculation was done, something else had to take over to make that final game-changing connection. And that something else is what he called a leap in consciousness. But what on earth did he mean by that? Honestly, it sounds more like something you'd hear from a philosopher or a mystic, not the father of modern physics. So let's break down what he was actually getting at. You can kind of see Einstein's process as a three-step journey. Step one is the intellect. That's all the math, the data, the hard facts. It's the foundation, and you absolutely have to do that work first. But the really transformative step, the thing that acts as a bridge to a real discovery, was what he called the intuitive leap. In his view, the intellect gets you to the edge of the cliff, but it's your intuition that lets you fly across to the other side. And for Einstein, this intuition wasn't just a lucky guess. Not at all. He described it more like a deep feeling for how the universe works, a sudden flash of insight that just felt right. It was like a higher form of awareness that connected his scientific brain to what he called a cosmic religious feeling, that sense of pure awe at the harmony of it all. Okay, let's pivot for a second. To really get how Einstein's century-old idea connects to the world of AI today, we've got to be super clear on our terms. We throw around words like cognition and intelligence all the time, but the difference between them, it's absolutely crucial for this whole conversation. So first up, we have cognition. Think of this as the nuts and bolts. It's the basic mental machinery, acquiring information, processing data, remembering things, spotting patterns. It's the raw computation happening under the hood. Intelligence, though, is different. That's what you do with all that machinery. It's the clever, creative, and adaptive way you use your cognitive skills to solve new problems, learn new things, and actually get stuff done. It's not just about processing, it's about purpose. So, to put it really simply, cognition is just information processing. Intelligence is creative problem solving. Here's an easy way to think about it. A calculator has cognition, for sure. But a chess grandmaster? That's intelligence. And then we've got the real wild card, consciousness. This is the subjective internal feeling of being aware. It's that sense that the lights are on inside your head. It's not about what your brain does, it's about what it feels like to be you, right now, having a thought or seeing a color. So, how does all this tie together into one of the biggest debates of our time? Well, it leads us to this massive question that connects Einstein's intuitive leaps to the AI running on your phone. Does real, genuine intelligence actually need a conscious mind behind it? This is the big one, right? Can a system be truly intelligent if there's nothing that it feels like to be that system? Or is it just a really, really fancy machine running a program? There are two powerful and totally opposing views on this. So the first camp says yes, absolutely. The idea here is that without awareness, you don't really have intelligence. You just have what philosophers sometimes call zombie cognition. It looks smart on the outside, but inside, nobody's home. There's no real understanding, no intent. This side argues that consciousness is what allows us to think about our own thinking and to make those incredible creative leaps that Einstein was talking about. But then you have the counter-argument. This view says, no, intelligence is all about action. It's about results. It's defined by what a system can do. If an AI can diagnose a disease better than a human doctor, well, that's intelligence, full stop. Who cares if it has an inner life? Proponents of this view point to things like plants, which show incredibly adaptive, intelligent behavior without a brain, let alone consciousness. From this angle, consciousness is a nice bonus, but it's not a requirement for intelligence. So you might be thinking, okay, that's a cool philosophical puzzle, but why does it actually matter in the real world? Well, the answer to this question has massive, and I mean massive, consequences for our future. The way we answer this isn't just some academic exercise. It fundamentally shapes our entire relationship with the non-human world. It defines how we treat the technology we build and how we treat all the other living things we share this planet with. I mean, just think about it. The answer to this question impacts everything. It affects the ethical rules we write for AI. It changes how we think about animal rights and their own consciousness. It goes right to the heart of defining what it even means for anything, or anyone, to truly think. This isn't a future debate. It's happening in labs and courtrooms right now. And that leaves us with this final, really provocative thought. As our creations, our technology get more and more powerful, as they start to mirror and even blow past human abilities, what are we actually building? Are we just making better tools, more sophisticated calculators? Or are we on the verge of creating entirely new kinds of minds? That's the question Einstein kind of left for us, and it's one we're now being forced to answer.